shouting for change, but what they need is clarity.
This is Unfiltered Logic.
Hey, how the fuck y'all doing out there? Facebook land, YouTube land, wherever land that you are in, you are tuned in to America's HR. You know, and got a good show for y'all, man. Not gonna waste a lot of time. We're gonna get this thing on the road. And so today I want to introduce my website for the America's HR book. Book's been out for a couple months now, but I finally gotten around to making the book a priority, been able to push it, share information with you guys. And so I'm going to be showing you guys the website. We're going to be talking about the book, letting you know what the book exists for, and then showing you the website, showing you how you can get the book. Got some cool things on the website. Worked my ass off the past 2 days building this website, man. And so I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm not going to lie. I'm very happy with it. You know, anytime you can turn a thought to a thing, that's always a good thing. And so I want to get into this, you know, and so today I'm launching the America's HR website. That's americashr.biz, B-I-Z. And there's a political alignment generator on the website, which was fun to make. You know, a lot of people just use the words conservative or liberal or moderate. They throw out these words. And a lot of people don't even know what those things are. You know, a lot of people don't know where they align. A lot of people don't know where they're similar, things of that sort. And so I created a political alignment generator that's going to pretty much have you answer 10 quick questions, really quick. You can answer in less than 30 seconds, depending on how fast you read. And then it will assign a political alignment to you and explain that why and give you some percentages. It's not a scientific tool. Let me put a disclaimer out there. It is for entertainment purposes only. You know, it may have some truth to it, but it's for entertainment purposes only. So be entertained. Do not try to sue me. And I'm also going to be reading the first chapter of the book. And so, yeah, man, it's going to be pretty dope. And so I want to get into it, like the big idea of the book. America, in my opinion, is starting to operate like an HR department, meaning that everything is so heavily regulated and scrutinized that you don't feel the individuality to be yourself anymore. And so the parallels, like, what does HR do? HR logic focuses on minimizing risk, controlling language, avoiding conflict. That mindset has spread into politics, media, education, and corporations. The feeling that the country is being run less like a republic and more like a corporate HR department is something I know lots of people feel, you know. And so I wrote a book about it, man. Now, the book is satire. It critiques the systems and incentives, not individual people. Someone out there is going to take something in this book personal. I encourage you not to, because it's definitely not fucking personal, you know. And so we're going to get into the website. And so this is America's HR.biz. This is the website. When you first go to the website, this is what you're going to see. I put the link in the description. You can check it out and you can do some of the things I'm about to show you. So take a look at the website, how the American dream is placed on a performance improvement plan. Anybody been on a performance improvement plan at work? Like when you're not meeting their objectives or you're not doing something in the line with how the company feels you should be doing, they push that piece of paper in front of you, basically saying what you're not doing right, what the expectations are, and what they need from you moving forward, and what's going to happen to you if you don't do that. You know, they're trying to paperwork you out the fucking door. You know, that's the kind of a lot of what's happening now with the cancel culture in America functioning like an HR department. So this is the homepage of the website. Here we got the HR quiz. We got your liberal or conservative quiz, and then we got the Americans. This is one of my favorite parts, is the Americans. A lot of people don't know I dropped an amazing album called The Americans. It's a country music album. And you can check out all of the songs on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that good stuff, pretty much on all the platforms. And it's pretty amazing. You know, it's pretty amazing. It's good music, good country music. I had a good time making it. Got into some of my Texas roots. I've been in Texas long enough. I figured I can do that now. And you know, my favorite song on the album is Lying Ass Liberals. So you check that out. That's a fucking great song. But the whole album is good, man. It really is. And so, of course, I'm just saying that because I created it. But I'm also saying it because I think it's good. But so the homepage, you know, talks about the book, America's HR. America's starting to feel like one big HR department. We got 2 quizzes of breaking the internet. One tells you your HR violation. The other tells you if you're a liberal or a conservative. America's HR is a satirical breakdown of politics, outrage culture, and the strange moment when an entire country begins operating like a corporate compliance department. Every disagreement becomes a violation. Every opinion requires approval. And the American dream is now pending review by management. Take the quiz. When you take the quiz, you're going to unlock the first chapter of the book. That's what I'm going to be reading to you today. And yeah, man, and the book is available on Amazon and on Apple Books. And so if you like it, pick up a copy. It's only $9.99. If you really, really want a copy and cannot afford a copy, let me know, and I could possibly get you a promo code for a free copy. In exchange for maybe a book review or a like or a share, something along those lines. We got 2 ways to get written up. One quiz tells you what HR would accuse you of in modern America. The other tells you which political department you really belong to. Both lead straight into the satire behind the system. And so we got the HR violation quiz, the liberal versus conservative quiz, and then of course you can unlock the free chapter. Then, you know, we got some examples of HR violations. Some of these might seem familiar: unauthorized independent thought, unsafe humor incident, improper questioning of policy, compliance resistance. And then, you know, some of the information about the libs versus conservatives, same office, different write-ups, you know, very similar lots of times. You know, the liberal file, the policy, feelings, and approved language. In this department, intent matters less than impact. Jokes require clearance. And every conversation risks becoming a sensitivity seminar with paperwork attached. The conservative side, relying on good old common sense, pushback, and zero patience. In this department, everything is obvious. Every new policy is nonsense. And HR is seen as a weapon used by people who cannot win a real argument. Let's see. We got reasons why people are taking the quizzes. You can see your violation. So I'm gonna give you guys an example of how this works. So, you know, let's go. Let's see my violation. So this is the workplace compliance evaluation generator. And so, how often do you question workplace policies? I'm one of those ones who I'm going to say frequently. You gotta be honest with myself. How often do you make jokes at work? I am a comedian. I do like to laugh. So occasionally. How comfortable are you thinking for yourself? Very comfortable. I have to think for myself or I'm not happy. And how often do you challenge management decisions? I'm uncoachable, man. I'm one of those. So I'm going to go with often. And how often do you say what everyone else is thinking? I'm that one. I'm that person. Regularly. How likely are you to ignore an obviously dumb rule? Emphasis on obviously. Very likely. How often do you use sarcasm in professional settings? Constantly. And bam, I got my write-up. You know, I got my first write-up here. Unauthorized independent thought. This is what the generator gave me. You should check it out, americashr.biz, and see what your write-up is. What are you getting? And then you can save the image. Of always, you can share it to Facebook, share it to Twitter. You can try another violation, you know, and go through the questions again. And so real fun, cool way to get your appetite wet for the book. We got some stats down here of the violations that have happened today on the website. And then what the most common were. Unsafe humor seems to be like the biggest thing people are getting HR violations for using the generator. And then over here, we got the liberal or conservative quiz. This is where you come to find out where you align. Like, if you want to know, are you a liberal or conservative? Take the quiz. Take the quiz. You go to americanshr.biz, take the quiz. I want to see how I align, you know? So let's see. Let me see. Let's see. Should the government solve more problems? What do you think? You know, should they step in? Sometimes, rarely, almost never. Sure, I think the government should be solving more problems. We're going next. All right. And then, how important is personal responsibility? I think it's very important. Next. What matters most? Freedom, order, fairness, or equality? I got to go with order. Taxes should be lower, balance higher for programs, or much higher. That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go balanced. Free speech should always be protected. Now, that's an easy one, man, because we got to always have the right to express ourselves. And police funding should be increased, stay the same, be reallocated, or decreased. We need to reallocate that shit. Police don't do a good job, in my opinion. And immigration, it should be open with limits. Sure, you can come, but you got to do it the right way. Healthcare, I think it should be government provided. But you can't just trust the government. So we got to have a mix. We still need private practices. And then climate policy should rely on market solutions, some regulation, emergency control, or strong regulation. We only got one Earth. I got to go with strong regulation. And then cultural change should happen slowly, preserving tradition, carefully and gradually, faster toward progress, or as radically as needed. I mean, it's as radically as needed, man. If we got to evolve as a society. So I want to see my result. In order to see my result, you got to come over here and just put in your email. Here, I put in my email. Let's see. It's a good one. I'm going to use this one. All right. Put in my email and get the results from my quiz. And bam. Get my results. Apparently, I'm a grill and freedom moderate. Let's see. This notice serves as official classification that the individual listed has been found in the ideological variance with approved political compliance expectations as determined by America's HR department. Termination risk is elevated. Privilege score is moderate. Compliance ranking is not looking good. You know, apparently about 27% of people get this result. And let's see, man, I'm a grill and freedom moderate. My values happen to be right in the middle. So everybody keeps saying I'm a conservative and I don't like liberals. Apparently I'm right in the middle. You know, a lot of you might be right in the middle. And then you got to make sure you get your free chapter by bam. Hitting that. And there you go. Allow your downloads, and then you get your free chapter of the book. It's that simple. But then you can read the chapter. If you like it, of course, buy the book, man. If you don't like it, let me know. All feedback is a gift. But more importantly, share it with someone, man. Share it with someone. And then if you want to retake it, you could. You know, to see if your answers are going to vary. It's totally up to you. And so we got that part out the way. We are going to now get into the reading of the book. And so let me just get that ready for you. You know, I don't want to keep you waiting no longer. All right. And then we're going to share that screen with you. And we're going to go window and bam. All right. America's HR. This is the first chapter of the book. We'll go ahead and read this, and let's see. And so, America's HR: How liberals became the compliance department and put the American dream on a performance improvement plan. Forward. Please read before proceeding. Failure to read this forward may result in misunderstanding, selective outrage, or the urge to argue with the book instead of engaging with it. Why this book exists. This book was not written to offend. Offense is a side effect. It was written to describe something millions of Americans experience daily but struggle to articulate: the feeling that the country is being run less like a republic and more like a corporate HR department. Not malicious, not tyrannical, just risk-averse, bureaucratic, and allergic to honesty. HR culture does not ask, is this true? It asks, does this create problems? That mindset now governs media, education, corporations, and politics. This is not a left versus right book. Although liberals play a central role in the story, this is not a partisan hit piece. Conservatives didn't invent HR, corporations did. Liberals simply adopted it as a governing philosophy. This book critiques incentives, not intentions, structures, not slogans, outcomes, not feelings. Good intentions do not guarantee good systems. History is full of disasters that begin with compassion. Why was this satire? Satire exists because direct language is no longer tolerated in a culture where disagreement is labeled harm. Humor becomes, I didn't mean to do that. Humor becomes the only remaining loophole. Comedy disarms, satire reveals, laughter lowers defenses long enough for truth to sneak in. If this book were written as an academic paper, it would be ignored. If it were written as a rant, it would be dismissed. So it is written like an HR manual because that's the system it critiques. What this book is not. The book is not a denial of racism, a rejection of empathy, a defense of cruelty, or a call to return to the past. It is a rejection of fragility as a governing principle. Empathy without accountability fails. Compassion without standards collapses. Inclusion without merit stagnates. Who is the book for? This book is for people who work hard and feel invisible, speak carefully and feel constrained, follow rules and feel punished, produce results and feel sidelined. It is for builders, strivers, creators, and skeptics. It is not for the people who believe discomfort is violence. How to read this book? Read it the way you would an exit interview. Not to assign blame, but to understand why something stopped working. Laugh when it's funny. Pause when it's uncomfortable. Argue with the ideas, not the author. Do not argue with me. Final note. If at any point you feel the urge to say this book shouldn't be allowed, congratulations. You understand the thesis. Proceed. So we're in chapter 1, when politics became human resources. Got my first policy violation notice. The issue was independent thought. Severity is high. Corrective action. Re-education recommended. Reminder, discomfort is not harm. Disclaimer, this is required reading. This book contains facts, satire, and sarcasm, uncomfortable observations, and ideas that may cause elevated heart rate, involuntary eye rolling, and the urge to report the author to HR. If at any point you feel offended, please take a deep breath, schedule a self-care break, and remember, discomfort is not harm. Welcome to America. Please sign here. America did not collapse, it was restructured. Somewhere between the land of the free and please complete this training module, the country quietly transitioned into a fully staffed human resources department. No election, no constitutional amendment, just vibes. HR didn't arrive waving red flags. It showed up with clipboards, buzzwords, and a warm smile. We're just here to help. That's what HR always says right before someone gets walked out with a cardboard box. Human resources exist for one reason: to protect the company, not workers. We got the great reclassification. The Republic is now a department. We got America Incorporated. The citizens are employees. The managers manage. Those are essentially your government officials, and your voters have turned into brand ambassadors. So you got citizens and leaders and voters. Independent thought now requires prior approval. Not the truth, not the company. Applied to a nation, that logic looks like this: protect the narrative, minimize liability, eliminate risk, discipline dissent. Congratulations, you now are an employee of America. Mandatory language update. At first, the change felt harmless. No one banned speech, they just updated it. Free speech became responsible speech. Equality became equity. Merit became problematic. Competition became toxic. And disagreement became violence. Notice the pattern? Nothing is illegal. It's just discouraged. This is classic HR behavior. You can technically say what you want. We just can't guarantee your job, reputation, bank account, or social standing afterwards. From a debate to a write-up. In a healthy society, bad ideas lose debates. That's the key. In a healthy society, you're allowed to have a bad idea, you're allowed to debate it, and you're allowed to be proven that it's not a good idea. In the HR society, bad ideas get labeled harmful and removed for everyone's safety. Debate assumes equals. HR assumes subordinates. That's why modern political arguments don't sound like arguments. They sound like disciplinary meetings. You can't say that. That causes harm. Do better. We don't tolerate that here. None of those are rebuttals. They're just policy citations. When speech violations replace argument, truth becomes optional and compliance becomes mandatory. Feelings become the new KPI. HR doesn't measure success by productivity. It measures by complaints or lack thereof. Applied nationally, this creates a strange system where intent matters more than outcomes, optics matter more than results, and failure is reframed as progress. If a policy fails, what makes people feel virtuous, it stays. If a fact causes discomfort, it gets escorted out. This isn't empathy, it's incompetence with a hug. Everything's safety theater now. America was built by people who took risks, broke norms, said offensive things, failed publicly, and tried again. America's HR culture says words are violence, discomfort is danger, and standards are oppression. Competition is exclusion. This does not create safety. It creates fragility. You don't build strong people by removing resistance. You build HR manuals. The American dream on a performance improvement plan. The American dream once required effort, skill, accountability, and personal responsibility. Now it requires approved language, correct opinions, public compliance, and quiet ambition. You can still succeed, just don't outperform the wrong group. Don't question the training, and don't skip the pronouns, and don't ask who benefits. The dream hasn't been canceled, it's just under review. Final notice, HR does not destroy institutions because it's evil. It destroys them because it is allergic to risk. America didn't choose tyranny, it chose comfort. In the next chapter, we examine how free speech quietly became approved speech and why saying the wrong thing now carries harsher penalties than doing the wrong thing. And that is chapter 1 of America's HR. Make sure you go to americashr.biz, download you a copy. Chapter 1 is free. If you like it, by all means, you should get the whole thing. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Tomorrow, we can go over another chapter of the book, go over the website some more. But I want to see what your political alignment is based on the generator. I want to see some of those results. I want you guys to enjoy this book. And hey, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I am the incomparable Diesel Greasel. Y'all be safe.